Ladies and gentlemen, ding dong, the witch is dead. Ralph Krueger is gone. Bye-bye. Get out of here.
Let's
Bye-bye.
go.
Goodbye. I'm so proud. Everybody, the Sabres did a good move for once. Krueger is gone. And we are here now to talk about his lasting impact on the team, which I will say is not very good, and some potential replacements for him. I am Don. This is Cal. This is Buffalo Sit Down, and we are very happy.
Yeah, I could not be more happy right now. I cannot believe they finally got rid of him. This guy, absolute liar, absolute bullshitter. Get him out of here. I'm so sick of him. Just now we can start the search for a new guy. Whew.
I'm very happy as well. Like this guy, he was mediocre in Edmonton. He's mediocre in Buffalo. Well, actually, he was mediocre in his first season with Buffalo, but now he was just off the rails. Everything was spiraling out of control. He had no control over the players. They were not fighting for him in the end. And eventually, their lack of drive is what got him fired.
Yeah, I'm happy for the decision, but the players didn't help him at all. The team was struggling. The team could not put goals in the net. The team could not make a save, and they did him no favors. But again, I'm so happy that he's gone.
Yeah, and he was just too soft to them. You could see a mentally weak group of players. You could probably put Barry Trotz in the same situation, and this team would be a playoff team.
Yeah, absolutely. You could tell the players at practice just messing around. Like he never went into the locker room and gave them a talk, like firm talk, like intimidating talk. He was just so soft with the players. He was so childish. He was just joke around, whatever. Like that's cool. But when you have a losing hockey team and a team that's losing fans, you can't do that.
He couldn't, and eventually something had to give. And well, Ralph Krueger's gone, so yay! Yes, let's go, Buffalo. We are going to do this again. We're going to go through the coaching carousel. And, well, we here at Buffalo SportsCenter is going to have our hand in the coaching carousel here. There's a lot of decent head coaches out there, a lot of experience. Hopefully, the Kevin Adams goes into that direction, unlike last time with Krueger, who had absolutely zero real experience. So, the first one I really saw was Gerard Gallant, former Florida Panthers and Vegas Golden Knights head coach. What do you think about Gerard Gallant?
This would be an interesting pickup. I think he would be a lot firmer with the players, which I like. I think he could help this organization. I don't know if he could really get us past our potential, but I do think he could, because you saw what he did in Vegas. You saw with the Panthers a little bit sprinkled in there. I think he would be a good hire. Not a great one, but a good one.
I actually would like this one, because the Vegas team that he sent to the finals, much worse team on paper than the Sabres are.
Very true.
So if he can fire up a group, he's a tough, no-nonsense head coach. This is someone that really the Sabres, you should go for. You tried going with the nice guys route, and I'm a little unsure that the Bigulas would like to hire a no-nonsense kind of guy like Gerard Gallant, because in the past he's always had clashes with management.
Yeah,
he's essentially a John Tortorella mini version of him. He's not as vocal. He's not as but he's still in that sort of cloth.
Yeah, I could see this being a good move, but again, like you said, the clash with management. The Sabres have been a mess for so long. They're a ticking time bomb. So if he says something wrong, this might not work out. But for the players' sake, I do think this would be a good move.
Yeah. Second up on the list, I'm not so sure this is possible, because he has in past expressed interest in a team like the Seattle Kraken, and that is former Wild, former Ducks, former Capitals head coach Bruce Boudreau, the Big Egg Man. How do you feel about Mini Egg Man?
Oh, I don't think this is I think it's a low possibility of us hiring him, but I would not mind this. I think he could fire up our team. I think he could get us. I like his strategies. I don't know if he could really put us in the Stanley Cup talk or anything like that, but he'd definitely be a better step than Krueger.
That I totally agree with that take. I think that Bruce Boudreau, he has the playoff experience. He's sent teams to the final, not to the conference finals, to the divisional finals, first round, you name it. My only problem is when you give him a good team, like a really good team, he underachieves. He's not someone that gets you to the finals and actually wins it. I don't think in his long, industrious career that he's ever done that. So that's the only drawback with Bruce Boudreau that I really can think of off the top of my head. He's a playoff underachiever.
Yeah. He just doesn't go all the way. He can bring a team up, but he just cannot finish with that team. So
yeah, and it happened with the Capitals. It happened with the Wild. It happened with the Ducks. Did he win a cup with the Ducks? I can't remember. That was so long ago. I can't remember if you were the 2007 head coach. But
yeah, he might have been.
Anyways, the Sabres could always stay in-house and just hire an interim head coach for the remainder of the season. This one, I think, is the most likely. They've got Mike Bale, Steve Smith, Don Granato. Of those three, who do you think would be the interim head coach?
I think Steve Smith would be your best candidate for now. I don't think this is your best choice long-term, but short-term, I think this would be a good hiring. The reason I say that is he took over during the COVID situation. Granato has health issues. I know he'd rather probably stay an assistant coach. And Bale's, I think he's decent, but I do think Smith is the best decision out of the three.
I would agree with that. I think Don Granato would prefer to stay up in the sky in the window looking down at everything and not be so close to everybody. And Mike Bales would probably just want to stick to the goaltending crisis that he's got on his hands and focus on that. And yeah, Steve Smith just has the most head coach potential of the three. I don't think he'd be anything more than an interim head coach until the summer into the offseason.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Another guy that I've seen pop up is Adam Oates, former Capitals head coach Adam Oates. He'd be somewhat like a Phil Housley kind of guy. How do you think this would fit for the Sabres?
Well, I think it might go exactly like Phil Housley went, which is an issue. But he could be better. Again, with these head coaches, you might think one way, you might be the other way. You never know. I think this would be a mediocre choice. I do think he has potential, but I don't see this working out long term.
How many times have we said, well, this X and X has potential. He could develop. You should really, if you're a coach, you should not be developing. You should already know and kind of have a feeling on grappling of what you're going to do. And I'm not so sure Adam Oates. I saw this in like a top list and I was like, I'll just include it just for F's sake. And
I think the Sabres got to go more experience this time around.
Yeah, that I do agree with that. And another guy, he's been out of the NHL for a little time. It's former Islanders head coach Jack Capuano. What do you think about Capuano?
This would be an interesting head coaching hire. I think he could really bring the team up. I think he could fire the guys up like the other candidates, but I don't know if this one would really work. Again, he hasn't been in the NHL for a while. He'd be new. I really think we need someone who was already in the fire, has consistently been in the NHL, and I think we need an experienced guy. So I think it could work, but I'm not a huge fan of this one. And
I agree with you. He did get the Islanders to the playoffs around 2016, I believe. Yes, no, I don't know. They won a series against the Panthers, but other than that, it was a relatively mediocre tenure with him on the Long Island. And eventually, it was him that brought in Doug Way and then finally Barry Trotz, who, let me remind you, the Sabres did we'll stick away from him, which I still scratch my head in as to why. But Jack Capuano, he's like Adam Oates. If we had like a tier list here, I would put Gallant and Boudreau at the top of my list, and then interim is just there to be there. And then these two guys would be towards the bottom of my list. Agree?
Yeah, again, they could work, but I think we got to go experienced head coach first because these guys have not proven themselves.
I totally agree. And then finally, this one's a bit weird. It would be Kevin Adams taking over as interim head coach until the end of the season. This move would not be unprecedented. We've seen a guy like former Florida Panther Tom Rowe, after Gallant was fired, he stepped in for the remainder of the season and was their head coach and GM. We've also seen it with Lou Lamoriello a couple times and a couple others. What would you think about Kevin Adams being the coach for the Sabres?
It'd be quite wild, but I could see it happening a little bit. He, former player, understands the game well, still young, maybe he wants to get in the head coaching role. I think you get paid more for general manager, obviously, and you have more authority. But I could see him maybe wanting to take over as head coach, maybe do a little Bill O'Brien.
Oh my God.
Do both. You never know. But I think low possibility. Low possibility, but I think it could happen. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
I think we gain access. He would be able to see what the players are like in the locker room, and then it would be an easier thing for him to say, "Hey, you're fired," or "Hey, you're traded. Goodbye," because he would actually know and see the dynamics inside, around, on the ice, in practice. And he's been known as like a no nonsense. He's a dick, kind of.
Yeah. It would make things simpler, but it would also make his job a lot more complex in other ways. So
that is true. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ralph Krueger, who was hired for the 2018-19 season, he is gone. And I'm sorry, 2019-20 season. They went 35-36 in his first season and only had 6 wins, and it was last in the NHL this season. He is fired, and the Sabres have plenty of options. We just went over them. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. You have to subscribe. Follow the Instagram. We are close to 2.2K followers on there. So make sure you do that. I was Don. This was Cal. This was BSC Sit Down. Have a great rest of your days, and goodbye, Krueger.